The first call came while I was boarding. Her name lit up my phone screen, Laura. Then it rang again, and again. By the time I was in my seat, there were 12 missed calls. I turned the phone face down, the way you turn away from someone you no longer trust but still haven't told. The flight attendant smiled, offered me water. I declined. My throat was already drowning in something thicker. I looked out the window. The clouds were slow, innocent things, floating without knowing what they were about to hide. When the plane took off, I opened my phone again. 125 missed calls. From my wife. From my son. From numbers I didn't recognize. No messages. Just calls. Endless, frantic calls. It's strange how silence can make sound unbearable. I knew something had happened. I just didn't know if I wanted it to be what I suspected. I closed my eyes and let the vibration fade under my hand. This was supposed to be their day, their celebration, and my absence, apparently, was the crime that started it all. It began 3 weeks ago. "Dad, it's not a big deal," Ethan said, avoiding my eyes. "Mom just thought maybe it'd be less awkward." Awkward, a word people use when they're lying through politeness. Laura stood beside him, arms crossed, smile rehearsed. "You're taking this too far," she said. "It's just a college graduation." Just the culmination of 22 years. Just the day I'd promised myself I'd see him walk across that stage, wearing the suit I bought him. But I didn't argue. I nodded once. The same nod you give to a verdict you knew was coming. That night, I lay awake beside her, listening. Her breathing, her quiet shifts in the sheets, the faint, buzzing silence of something dying between us. She had stopped calling me by my name months ago. Now I realized she'd stopped saying, "our son." It was always Ethan and I, never we. The first suspicion came quietly, like a whisper behind the curtain. A professor, a friend, someone helping him through college. I didn't want to believe it. Not that she would, not that he wasn't, mine. But disbelief is just denial dressed in comfort. I didn't shout, didn't ask questions. I started with patterns. Flight receipts, emails, hotel reservations under her name but charged to a card I didn't recognize. Then I checked Ethan's social posts. A man in the background of his graduation rehearsal. A hand, resting on his shoulder. A hand I'd never seen before. The next day I called the lab I used for corporate clients. Requested a paternity confirmation. Quietly, efficiently. Ethan had left an old toothbrush in the upstairs bathroom. Laura's hairbrush was easy enough to find. Every movement felt mechanical, like operating on my own corpse. I mailed the samples under a different name. Then I waited. I kept smiling through dinners, kept nodding when Ethan said, "Mom and I are planning something for graduation." Mom and I. Not once did he say, "You'll be there, right?" When the envelope arrived, I didn't open it immediately. I set it on my desk, watched it sit there under the lamp's yellow glow. I wondered how long people can live a lie before it rots the inside of their voice. 2 hours later, I opened it. The report was clean, clinical, words and numbers that could dismantle a lifetime. Probability of paternity, 0.00%. I read it twice. Then once more, slower. The body reacts strangely to devastation. It doesn't break, it goes still. That night I poured 2 glasses of wine. She came down in her robe, smiled. "Celebrating your trip already?" I slid the report across the table. She didn't touch it. She read the first line. Then her lips trembled. "You? How could you?" I didn't answer. "After all these years, you think—" Still silence. Because words don't heal bullet wounds. Ethan's photo was on the counter, smiling. A boy who thought love was unconditional. I wondered if he'd still think that when he learned what she'd done. When I finally spoke, my voice felt like it belonged to someone else. "Tell him I won't be at his graduation. Tell him I'm taking a trip instead." The flight left the morning of his ceremony. Laura tried to call, then Ethan, then both. The first message came mid-air. "Dad, please answer, something happened." Then another, and another. By the time I landed, 125 missed calls. The final message was a photo. Ethan's suit, blood-stained. A car accident. Right after the ceremony. He was alive. Laura wasn't. The irony felt surgical. She'd spent years building a life where I didn't belong. Now, in the end, I was the only one left to pick up what remained of her creation. At the hospital, Ethan's first words cut through the sterile air. "She was calling you, Dad. She wanted you there." I placed my hand on his shoulder. Cold. Controlled. "I know." He cried. I didn't. There was nothing left to mourn that hadn't already died long before she did. Weeks later, I drove to the ocean. The horizon looked endless, indifferent. I took the report from my jacket pocket, the DNA test, creased and faded. The wind tore it from my hand, scattered it into the waves. It didn't matter anymore. Truth had already done its work. Ethan didn't need to know. Not yet. Maybe not ever. He still called me Dad, and for now, that was enough. Some lies destroy you. Others set you free. As I turned back toward the car, my phone buzzed again. Another missed call, another voice reaching from the wreckage of the past. I didn't answer. I never will again. Sometimes the cruelest revenge is simply walking away, without explaining why you never looked back.